Okay, uranium friends. So these are the requested tickers from the Uranium Squeeze channel. And first off, on this first video, I'm going to go over, I guess, the plant builders, the ancillary. Let's just call them ancillary. So they're not miners. They're kind of like the utility guys in the space. So the first one is SMR. Now we know this was a SPAC at one point, and you know the nature of SPACs is people who invest in them over here, they pay $10, and that's kind of like the floor. And you could see it in this volume profile here. $10 is the spot where these original guys, people got in. Okay, this is some chopping around here. So this is the monthly chart, and it doesn't look really fantastic, but we know that there's been a bunch of unlocks. So these initial investors are probably selling here. I don't know how the unlocks are faring at the moment, but the chart tells us that this thing is having some problems right now. But let's just kind of dig deeper into the technicals of it and take it from there. So this Fibonacci retracement off of this run here, this thing just didn't even really bounce too much out of this golden pocket, and it's right where the 200-day moving average is at the moment. So it breached it here. This white line again is the 200-day moving average. Got some buying up at the 78% retracement, and it was pretty short-lived. Okay, this is a monthly chart, so these are monthly candles. So line in the sand at the moment, at least on the monthly chart, is this low right here, which is 1031. Let's just mark that. So 1031 is kind of your spot at the moment, and I guess it makes a little bit of sense. You know, the $10 bag holders that didn't sell up here, and anybody who bought while this thing was making a run, you know, $10 could be the spot. So that's kind of where it is now. There's nothing that looks fantastic about this chart at the moment on the monthly. Okay, this is a monthly bear flag. So if you want this bear flag to resolve, if we want to say, oh, um, what are the odds of this following through? You know, we have this. You can take the fibs in the other direction, and at least like 1306 starts to say if it makes it up to 1306, then it kind of helps to negate that bear flag. But at the moment, it is a bear flag, so we have to keep our eyes on that. 1031 is the key level at the moment, and it makes a little bit of sense. So you have a fundamental floor at 10, because that's where all the original investors are in, right here, right? $10. All the original SPAC people bought in at 10. That's your fundamental floor. Right now, we have a technical floor of 1031 on the monthly. The weekly is just nothing looks very good here either. Okay, this is not a great looking chart at the moment. Okay, it has potential to be in the future as an investment. Maybe it has potential to be one of the greatest investments you can make, right? If they start, if small nuclear reactors are become the thing, and these guys kind of own the space, they're going to be in good shape. But again, it's just 1031. There's nothing special to say here. It's sideways chop, but it is still in a weekly downtrend. I mean, you had your high, low, lower high, lower low, lower low again, lower high. So it's kind of in that spot. The good thing is we have this sideways action. So you really have a very low risk entry here if you want. If you want to use 1031 as your stop, you could make an entry here with 1031 as your stop, or give it a little bit of room and take it from there. That's all I got to say about that. The daily, same deal, right? Sideways chop, nothing special, some decent volume today. Nothing to write home about. It's just a sideways deal, and the 200-day moving average, which has been acting as support, is now acting as resistance. Okay, so it's kind of where it's at with this bad boy. So I think that if we clear at least 1141, there might be a shot to start making a little bit of a move. LEU on the monthly. So we've been talking about this one. I've detailed a couple of my entries and my exits and how I got caught in this disaster of the earnings report. But there it is. Yeah, so this monthly higher low is kind of what we need to kind of hold. So it's 3016 is the spot at the moment that we need to hold. Otherwise, you could be looking down at this next area of support because there's nothing down here, right? There's nothing here on this monthly. So your next area of support could be 2450, 2442. There seems to be some uh, buying support down here. You can see this volume profile. So I would expect that if it doesn't hold, then there's a good possibility it could keep going down. So, I mean, that's what it is. If you, everything is sideways in the space right now, and it's kind of weakening a little bit. These guys just got their government contract, and you know, nobody reacted. It didn't react very favorably to that news. It could just be the sentiment issue that we're in right now, but that's what it is. If we were in a full-on bull, this thing would have ripped on that news. Yeah, the weekly's the same deal. It's definitely a confirmed downtrend, right? High, low, lower high, lower low. So it's definitely in a weekly downtrend, and this is your spot now to hold. So again, these are a lot of the names in the space are turning into setting up for some pretty good low risk trade opportunities. This one, I mean, I would give it a little more time personally. 10% pullback drawdown for a stop is pretty big. But there's your spot, right? 3016. So anybody that wants to make some entries and have a level to work off of, there it is. And same deal here, right? So again, look, even today, the rejections at the 200-day moving average. I'm going to say it over and over, but commodities traders tend to be, for lack of a better term, older people. So they still use these 200-day moving averages as gauges. So it's plenty of times it's acted as support. Now it's acting as resistance. And look at the rejection right at it. All right. So that's the deal with LEU. It doesn't look great, especially that we've had some good fundamental news. We still have a gap up here. So from 41.81 probably to 44-ish, 44.30, 44.20. Still a gap there. Gaps like to get filled eventually. Who knows what's going to happen at this point. So 3016 is our key level for this bad boy at the moment. Bwxt. So this is a little bit of a different chart. It's a much better looking chart, right? So we've got the life of this stock, and we have it in full view. Okay, so let's just say this was we start here, or some sideways chop, and it's just bouncing in a good range. So if you're a range player, you know that you can kind of grab maybe a $50 entry here that gives you a low risk, and you're probably going to be looking up at the 68 area for the range players, but the monthly, you have a little bit of a bull flag here. If you run a fib on this, off this last run, uh, yeah, so it kind of um, hit this 50% retracement area right here, and it bounced right off of it. So it's a pretty good sign. This is a better looking chart than the other ones. I can tell you that right now. So you're in a monthly uptrend, and you have a monthly bull flag, and you have a lot of room for this bull flag before you can say, hey, it's the likely scenario is that it might not play out as we had hoped. So, but there's your 50% retracement at 5610. It bounced right off of there. You have your EMAs here right now. We're well above the 200-day moving average, and we've had the 50-day never, well, it did. We had a good 50-day bull cross. So this thing actually looks better than the other two that we've discussed so far. So uh, weekly consolidation is now underway as we've breached last week's low. So we need to see how that plays out on this one at the moment. Okay, so again, I'll be looking at this 50% retracement area to see, and I'm just going to mark this right now because it should be marked. Okay, so, this is going to say whether this monthly bull flag holds up. Right now, it looks fine. And you have this EMA right at this 38% retracement, which is at 57. So it looks okay. But right now weekly consolidation is healthy, but you need to give it a little time. So we've seen weekly consolidation before turn into a good bounce. We've seen it turn into a pullback. So there's no telling. But the chart itself on the monthly looks much stronger than the other names. The daily chart is in an uptrend until, let's just see here. Well, it's sideways, but it's getting really tight. I would use this level up here personally, would tell me that we've lost this uptrend. So it's really just sideways consolidation on this daily chart, but it did lose this 12 EMA, and we do have the 5 curling down. Again, look where this 200-day moving average is, right at the golden pocket of this retracement. So, like, I've been watching this name for a long time. It does pay a dividend, 22 cents, not horrible. I've kept it on my watch list, and I've just kind of lightly followed it. They do a lot of nuclear technology other than just reactor building, so they're in the nuclear medicine field as well. So it could be one of the reasons why this thing has got a much better looking chart than the other ones. Okay, so Rolls-Royce, yeah, I don't even know what to say about this one. Here's the life of this stock, and this is a 3-month chart. So we're looking at a quarterly chart. Now, one could say it's pretty much close to bottomed out, but I don't know. There's got to be a reason why we've had this huge drawdown over the course of, I don't know, 4 years now, almost 5. So the good thing is that this is a bottom fishing opportunity, right? But you are in a black dirt breakdown. So there's nothing that our RSI goes out the window in a black dirt breakdown. Even technicals kind of just go out the window. I mean, it's that simple because this thing can just grind down at the bottom for forever. Who knows? So you would have to say to yourself, okay, these guys are going to be something special in the nuclear plant building operations to say, all right, let me just make an investment. I don't know if there's any um, dividends to this thing. It's just, to me, this is just there's nothing good about this chart unless you're someone who has some sort of belief that they're going to be cranking it out. So again, everything's just going to be just flat out, flat, 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 all the way at the bottom here. But you are in a black dirt breakdown, right? So now that this daily RSI has been cooled, um, you could see some more downside here. But the spot to hold for this thing is 71 cents. It's just that simple. It's making a decent little move, and it is actually using the 200-day moving average as support. So, you know, you want to keep it tight. $1 maybe could be a stop loss area. This is just grinding. The 1 day of consolidation, really nothing. You had some good volume off this bottom, so there's your bottom fishers. And it's just kind of just a little bit below average right now, but it makes sense. We have this whole thing going on in the general markets in general. So that's the deal with these four. Bwxt is the best looking chart on these ancillary names, these nuclear power plant builders, if you will. So if you're looking to be someone in that space and get the advantage, I mean, this is the one I'd be buying. It's got the strongest chart. Over and out.